All right, so good afternoon, everyone. I am here with Miss Maria, and she has agreed to talk about our journey with depression and some things that we have done along the way to help fight depression, right? Okay, you ready for this discussion, Miss Maria? All right, so when Maria was a young lady, everything was fabulous, right? Her whole world centered around family. She had a very loving childhood. Everyone told her how amazing she was, how smart she was. Up until middle school, she believed all of that. One of her duties as a middle school student was to hold the door open for her classmates. And let me preface this by saying Maria does not remember a lot of her childhood. She has a lot of seizures, and so she loves to hear stories about her past because she does not remember a lot of details. But in middle school, she was in a collaborative class, meaning she was in a social studies class with her typical age peers, so that would be general education. She had a one-on-one paraprofessional, so there was an adult with her at all times for transition purposes, for toileting purposes, and she loved to do things in the classroom, and one of her duties was to hold the door open. And I just loved that. Her middle school teacher was actually a colleague of mine when I taught at the local high school. He was there as well, but then transitioned to a middle school. So I actually knew him professionally and personally, so that was fabulous. So, Maria was a happy child. We had our own home. My mother lived 7 minutes away. We had a lot of different family. This was in Metro Atlanta, and everything was great. When Maria got a little older and was able to recognize that not only were her abilities different, but that her life was in a sense limited because our world is not set up for special needs people to navigate. And you can see her, she's shaking her head no. And so it became a frustrating time for her. And she literally gave up on a lot of the things that she used to do. So Maria has a communication device. As you can see, she's not using it. Well, she will use it to get on YouTube and listen to music. But she's not using it to talk to family. She's shaking her head yes, but she does not use it. Maria expects us to understand her language and everything that she's trying to say, even though her intellectual abilities far surpass our ability to comprehend her signals. Some of the signals are easier than others. So Maria has had a lot of behavioral outlashes from her frustration with her quality of life. And there have been instances where she will barricade herself. Now, this is when she was younger. She's doing pretty well now, but we've had instances where she's barricaded herself behind her bedroom door, and we have had to call the fire department. And because they didn't want to break anything, Mama had to break the door down. Maria has fallen out of bed on purpose, trying to hurt herself because she said she doesn't like her life. And those are just a couple of examples. So we have tried several depression medications throughout the years. We have had behavioral assessments. We have had counselors come in, but it's very hard to have effective counseling because Maria is nonverbal, and a lot of mental health clinicians and therapists do not have the tools for the nonverbal community. So Maria is not on an island by herself. There's an entire community out here that uses assistive technology that's nonverbal, that use other means of communication to get along in the public sector. But it has been a frustration family-wide because there aren't a lot of resources for our population. So yesterday I called Maria to see how she was doing, and we do have a phone system where if the answer is yes, she will respond by talking in her language. And if the answer is no, she will say nothing. And so on the phone, we use yes and no questions to communicate. And yesterday, Maria told me that she was feeling down. So now that she is an adult, some of the things that we use to combat depression are things that Maria enjoys. Maria loves music. So she's constantly listening to music. Sometimes she'll like gospel music, other times different genres of music, but then she also listens to sermons. And we also talk about talking to God on a regular basis, right? Because when we're dealing with depression, we always want to amplify those activities that help us to feel better, that do not cause us bodily harm. So a lot of people have negative coping mechanisms, and since Maria cannot do most physical things for herself, there is an intentional focus on the internal battle, because everything that we need to get through is mental or spiritual, and it all begins on the inside, right? So if we can get over that mental battle, if we can focus on the positive thoughts and getting outside, getting some fresh air, listening and doing things that make us feel happy, then we get those smiles. So depression, it's always been something that we have had to deal with and sift through and fight. And some days are better than others. And I always tell Maria that it's not a linear journey. Some days are better than others, and we might have the highest high one day and the lowest low the next. But there's a whole community out here that is dealing with depression, and we are not strangers to it. So just wanted to get on here and share some of our journey, because I told Maria one of the things that always helps me to feel better is when I feel like I'm helping other people. And so she agreed to get on here and have a conversation. And she's telling you that she talks to God when she looks up. It's either she's talking about God, flying on an airplane, or some type of weather. So we appreciate you all's time. Thank you for listening, and hope that you have a fabulous day. Is there anything you wanted to add, Miss Maria? What did you want to add? God? Saying your prayers? No? All right, I'm going to figure out what she's telling me. Hope you all have a fabulous day. Peace and blessings. Okay, so Maria wanted to get back on camera and talk about her Gigi. And she's looking up because Gigi is where? She's in heaven? Yes, so Maria's Gigi passed in 2016. That was my grandmother, her great-grandmother on my mother's side. And she wants to put up pictures of Gigi on her wall. Now we've got to paint these walls. Right now they're a depressing gray color, which is not helping our mental health. And Maria wants her room pink and purple, so we're going to make that happen. And then we're going to put Gigi's picture, a picture of Maria and Gigi, on the wall, right? Yeah, and we'll put pictures of family all around, because that helps with happiness and the quality of our day. Yes. Okay. Thank you for sharing, Miss Maria. You're telling them to have a good day? All right. All right. We'll talk to you soon.